Ladies, let me tell you something real quick. You ever find yourself confused, sitting up in your bed at night thinking, why is he acting like this? Why is he ignoring me when everything felt so good? You start doubting yourself, right? You start wondering if you said something wrong, did something wrong. Start blaming yourself. But let me explain something to you. And this is going to sound backwards at first, but I promise you, if you listen with your heart, not just your ears, it'll start to make sense. Sometimes when a man really loves you, I mean deeply, truly from his soul, he might ignore you. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't talking about no little boy playing games. I ain't talking about a man who's stringing you along. I'm talking about a grown man, a man with responsibilities, a man who knows the weight of love and what it demands. When a man loves you, that love changes his world. It shifts everything. Because now he ain't just thinking about himself anymore. He's thinking about you, your future, your needs, your heart. And let me tell you, real love to a man ain't just about flowers and sweet texts. It's about protection. It's about providing. It's about leading. And when the man don't feel ready to do all that, he starts questioning himself. He starts looking in the mirror and asking, am I enough for her? Can I give her the life she deserves? Can I protect her heart, support her dreams, and stand beside her as a real partner? And if those answers ain't clear to him, that man will pull back, not because he wants to hurt you, but because he refuses to hurt you by showing up as half a man. See, what women sometimes misunderstand is that silence in a man is often a sign of serious thinking. A woman feels, she talks, she shares. That's how she processes love. But a man goes quiet. He steps away. Not because he's leaving, but because he's searching for answers, for strength, for direction. Love makes a man look at himself under a microscope. It exposes all the places where he needs to grow. And if he's truly in love with you, he wants to grow before he commits. Some of y'all have been told that when a man pulls back, it's because he's not into you. And yes, sometimes that's true. Some guys are cowards. Some just want a good time with no intention to build anything real. But I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about that man who sees forever in your eyes and suddenly realizes forever is a long time to get right. Forever is heavy. And that's when he pauses. Not to leave, but to level up. Let me give you an example. A man might be dating you, everything going great, dates, laughs, chemistry, late night phone calls, and then suddenly he gets quiet, texts slow down, conversations get short. He ain't as available as he was. You start to feel the distance and you wonder, what did I do wrong? But what's really happening is he's sitting in his car alone after work thinking, man, if I stay with her, I got to get my money right. I got to handle my business. I can't bring her into this mess I'm still trying to figure out. Because a real man doesn't want to love you halfway. He doesn't want to bring you into a storm he hasn't figured out how to calm. He wants to be a man you can lean on, not a man who leans on you when things get tough. And that pressure to be enough for the woman he loves, it can make him retreat for a while. Not out of disrespect, but out of responsibility. Now, I know some of y'all are saying, but if he loves me, shouldn't he communicate that? Shouldn't he tell me what he's feeling? And yes, ideally that's the goal, but baby, not every man was taught how to do that. Not every man was raised in a home where emotional vulnerability was safe. A lot of men were taught to shut up, toughen up, and figure it out alone. So instead of saying, I'm scared I'll fail you, he just pulls back until he feels stronger. And here's the truth. Real love will always come back around. A man who truly loves you might go quiet. He might distance himself, but he will return. And when he does, you'll notice something different about him. He's more present. He's clearer. He's ready. Because he took the time to work on the parts of himself that needed fixing for you, because you matter that much to him. Now, I ain't saying you got to sit around forever waiting. I'm not saying you should put your life on hold hoping he gets it together. Your job as a woman is to keep growing, keep shining, and keep living. But if he's a man worth waiting for and you know the difference, sometimes that space he creates isn't rejection, it's preparation. It's not a goodbye, it's give me a minute so I can be the man you need me to be. So don't always judge a man by the silence, judge him by what he does with that silence. Does he come back better, stronger, more focused? Then that was a man on a mission. That was love going through his transformation phase. But if he disappears and stays gone, if he ignores you and never returns, that ain't love. That's a blessing in disguise. That's God removing someone who was never built to carry your heart. So yeah, sometimes when a man loves you, really loves you, he will ignore you, but not because he wants to leave you. It's because he's finally realizing the weight of loving you right. And that kind of man is rare. And if you've got one like that, you hold on, but only if he comes back ready to love you like you deserve. Let me tell you something real quick. Setting boundaries ain't being mean. It's being clear, it's being grown, and more than anything, it's being honest with yourself about what you will and won't tolerate. You keep letting people walk all over you because you're scared they'll leave if you speak up. But let me ask you this. What kind of love is that where you got to suffer in silence just to keep the peace? You out here playing nice, biting your tongue, holding in tears, overthinking every little thing you say, just to avoid conflict. But the truth is, conflict is already there. It's just one-sided. You're feeling it alone. The narcissist ain't worried about how you feel. They're sleeping just fine while you're up at night replaying conversations, wondering if you're the problem. You're not the problem. Your lack of boundaries is. See, a narcissist feeds on that kindness. They see your silence as permission. They see your forgiveness as weakness. Every time you excuse their disrespect, you teach them how to treat you. Every time you let it slide, they think you'll always take it. And that's where you start to lose yourself. When you keep showing up for someone who wouldn't do half for you what you're doing for them. Let me say it louder. You are not responsible for other people's comfort when they disrespect you. You are not required to make someone feel good while they're treating you bad. If it hurts, say it. If it disrespects your space, your energy, your worth, cut it off. Not later, not when they change. Now, some people will try to guilt trip you. You've changed, they'll say. Yeah, you should change. You should grow. You should evolve. You should stop shrinking yourself to fit into their comfort zone. They liked you better when you were quiet, when you didn't ask for much, when you tolerated their mess without saying a word. But that's over. That version of you is retired. It's done. Now, when you set a boundary, you don't got to yell. You don't got to explain it for 2 hours. You don't owe them a monologue. A boundary is a full sentence. No, that doesn't work for me. I won't allow that anymore. Period. Simple, direct. You don't set boundaries hoping they'll understand. You set them so you understand where you stand. And here's the thing, when you start doing that, people will push back, especially narcissists. They don't like losing control. So they'll test you, they'll poke, they'll try to manipulate, twist the story, make you look like the villain. They'll say you're cold, that you've got an attitude, that you're acting brand new. And you know what? Let them talk. Because when someone benefits from you having no boundaries, they're always going to see your limits as a problem. That's not your fault. That's not your responsibility. You're not here to make toxic people comfortable. You're here to protect your heart, your time, and your peace. That's the mission. You got to stop being afraid of losing people who don't care if they're losing you. Stop chasing the approval of folks who only clap for you when you're struggling, when you're begging, when you're bleeding. Start showing up for yourself like you show up for everybody else. Start taking care of you. Don't wait for a breakdown. Don't wait until you're drained, bitter, exhausted from giving too much to people who wouldn't give a drop back. Do it now. Start small if you have to. Say no when you want to say no. Speak up when something doesn't feel right. Walk away when respect isn't being served. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to prioritize your peace. You are allowed to say, that doesn't work for me anymore. Stop apologizing for wanting better. Stop explaining your worth to people who only want you around to serve their ego. And listen, it might be lonely at first. When you set boundaries, you lose people. But what you gain, oh, it's powerful. You gain clarity, you gain energy, you gain freedom, you gain peace. You gain a version of yourself that no longer lives in fear of rejection because you finally realize that rejection from the wrong person is actually redirection to something better. It takes courage to stand up for yourself. It takes strength to say enough. But you got that strength. You've been through enough to know what you won't allow anymore. So why keep entertaining what breaks you? Why keep being nice to someone who wouldn't even cross the street for you if it didn't benefit them? This is your life, your story. You get to choose who gets access. Not everyone deserves a front row seat. Some folks belong outside the building, far away, locked out. And when they come knocking, remember this: peace is better than fake love. Respect is louder than words. And boundaries are how you teach the world how to treat you. So go ahead, build that wall, close that door, hold that standard. Don't explain, don't apologize, just do it. Let's make something real clear today, ladies, because I need you to stop confusing boys with men. There's a big, big difference. And once you understand it, you'll stop stressing over people who were never meant to stay in your life in the first place. See, when a boy is faced with pressure, commitment, or real love, he disappears, gone, vanished, no explanation, no closure. He ghosts you because he doesn't know how to handle you. You're too much woman for him. Too strong, too smart, too stable, and that scares him. But a man don't disappear. He might pull back, he might go quiet for a while, but he ain't gone. He's regrouping, he's thinking, he's preparing. Now that right there, that's the difference. A boy will leave because he's uncomfortable. A man will stay in the shadows for a minute because he's becoming more comfortable with what you bring to the table. Let me break it down. A boy disappears when love gets deep because he's not ready to give up his freedom, his games, or his selfishness. Still chasing fun. Still trying to find himself while dragging your heart through confusion. And when you try to ask him what's wrong, he avoids the conversation. He disappears from text, stops showing up, leaves you on read, and when you finally hear from him, it's too late or it's full of excuses. But a man, when he loves you and that love starts to mean something to him, he takes a step back, not because he's scared of you, but because he's scared of messing it up. That man will ask himself questions like, can I really be what she needs? Am I stable enough mentally, emotionally, financially to build with her? Can I lead in this relationship with honesty and integrity? And if the answers don't come right away, he don't run. He goes to work on himself. He starts aligning his money. He starts dealing with his childhood traumas. He starts figuring out his career path. That silence from him, that's not rejection, it's reflection. Now, I'm not saying it's always easy for you. I know how it feels when the man you care about suddenly goes quiet, when you feel him pulling away, when the communication starts slowing down, when the rhythm shifts. It can mess with your head, especially if you've already been let down by boys before. But here's what I want you to hear. A man who is for you will always circle back to you. He doesn't vanish. He doesn't leave things unfinished. A man who's regrouping is working behind the scenes to come back as someone you can trust, love, and build with. And when he does come back, you'll see the difference. He won't come back confused. He won't come back with games. He'll come back with clarity. He'll say, I know what I want now, and it's you. And when he says that, you'll feel the peace that comes from a man who's ready, not just interested. So how do you know if you're dealing with a boy or a man? Watch how he handles pressure. Does he disappear without warning, leave you hanging, give you cold silence with no answers? That's a boy. Or does he take a step back, but eventually returns with better energy, clearer intentions, and more maturity? That's a man regrouping. Ladies, let me give you some advice. When a man pulls back, don't panic. Don't chase. Don't beg for clarity. Let him do what he needs to do, but don't you stop growing while he's gone. Don't pause your life waiting for someone to figure out theirs. Because the truth is, if he's a real man, he'll recognize your worth even more after the regroup. And if he's just a boy, well, he'll disappear and stay gone. And you'll thank God he did. Remember, boys run from pressure. Men run toward purpose. One leaves you questioning your value, the other returns to confirm it. Let me break something down for you right now. You don't need everybody to like you. You don't need everybody to clap when you walk in the room. You don't need to keep bending over backwards just to get someone to say, you're enough. Stop living your life chasing applause, because the truth is, a lot of people only approve of you when they can control you. And the moment you stop dancing to their tune, the applause stops, the love dries up, the fake support fades. That's why you got to stop chasing approval and start choosing self-respect. You keep giving people the power to define your worth, and half of them don't even value themselves. How are you going to let somebody who's broken decide what you're worth? That don't even make sense. Your value ain't up for debate. Your worth don't need a second opinion. But see, a narcissist will twist it. They'll make you feel like their validation is oxygen, like if they don't approve, you don't exist. They want you addicted to their praise, their attention, their acceptance. One minute they're sweet-talking you, the next they're stonewalling you, and you out here trying to win them back like you did something wrong. You didn't. That's the game. That's control. Let me tell you this, people-pleasing is emotional slavery. You tie your peace to how someone else feels about you, and now you're their puppet. That's no way to live. Every decision you make is filtered through. Will they be mad? Will they leave? Will they think I'm selfish? Guess what? Let them. Let them leave. Let them get mad. Let them think whatever they want. Because your peace, your sanity, your self-respect is worth more than temporary approval. Stop saying yes when your soul is screaming no. Stop smiling when your heart is breaking. Stop giving chances to people who treat you like you're disposable. That ain't love. That ain't respect. That's manipulation. And the longer you stay in that, the more you start losing yourself. Somewhere along the line, you were taught that being loved meant being liked all the time. That if someone was unhappy with you, you failed. But that's a lie. Real love doesn't require you to lower your standards. Real love doesn't demand that you shrink, stay silent, or suffer just to stay close. And real self-respect, it looks like walking away, even when your heart wants to stay because you know what you deserve. Now let me hit you with this. When you start choosing self-respect over approval, you're going to disappoint some people. That's just facts, especially narcissists. They ain't used to you standing tall. They ain't used to hearing no. They ain't used to being told, I'm not okay with that. And when you stop letting them manipulate you, they'll flip the script, make you the villain, call you cold, say you've changed. You know what? You have. And that's a beautiful thing. That's growth. That's healing. That's power. You don't need their version of love. You don't need their fake compliments, their half-hearted, I'm sorry, their breadcrumb affection. You need respect. You need consistency. You need peace. And sometimes to get that peace, you got to be willing to lose people who never truly valued you to begin with. You ever notice how heavy life gets when you're trying to keep everyone happy? It's exhausting. You're constantly overthinking, replaying, apologizing, fixing, what ain't yours to fix. And the crazy thing is, even after all that effort, they still ain't satisfied. You still ain't enough. So what do? You try harder, give more, bend further until there's nothing left of you. Nah, that stops today. You don't need to do more. You need to be more real. You need to tell yourself, I'm enough, even if they don't clap for me. That's